This is Dave Wart with Ag Market News with your weekly summary. Cattle this week, there was 4,685 head compared to 3,425 last week and 5,628 a year ago. Compared to last week's market, steers were mostly steady to $1 lower, Holsteins were mostly steady to $2 higher, heifers were mostly steady, and cows were $2 to $4 higher. Bulls were mostly $2 to $4 lower. Steers high choice and prime 129 to 133. Choice were 122.75 to 126 and a quarter. Selects running 116.50 to 122. Holstein steers high choice and prime were 111 to 118.25. Choice were 102.25 to 106.25. High choice and prime heifers 126 to 130. Choice were running 120.50 to 124.75. Selects were 111 to 117. Cows breakers were 77.75 to 81. Boners were 72 and a quarter to 76.50, and lean cows were 70 to 74.50. Average dressing bulls were 87.50 to 92.50. Feeder cattle, we did have one major feeder cattle sale this week with some larger numbers, so that seemed to increase the price a little bit. It was good quality. Steers medium and large frame 1 3 to 500 pounds were 147 to 156. 5 to 700 pounds were 131.50 to 146. Number 2s 5 to 700 pounds are 118.50 to 129.50. Number 2s, 5 to 700 pounders are 106 to 119. Heifers 3 to 500 pounds, number 1s are 135 to 156. 5 to 700 pounders are 127 to 134. Number 2s 3 to 500 pounds are 104 to 127. And heavier 5 to 700 pounds are 95 to 110. Number 1 bulls 3 to 500 pounds are 131 to 143. 5 to 700 pounds are 120 to 130. Number 2s 3 to 500 pounds are 140 to 142, and 5 to 700 pounds were 97 to 102.50. Calves this week, there was 3,050 compared to 2,879 last week and 3,055 a year ago. Compared to last week, bulls were mostly $3 to $5 lower. Heifers were steady to $5 higher. Number 1 Holstein bull calves 95 to 120 pounds were 102.75 to 114.75. Lighter calves were 89 and 75 to 108. Number 2's 95 to 120 pounds was 87 to 103. Lighter calves were 87 to 89, and number 3's were running about 63 to 85 cents. Number 1 heifers 84 to 105 pounds was 134 to 166. Number 2's were 78.50 to 117 and a quarter. Hogs this week, we had 787 compared to 1147 last week and 1155 a year ago. Compared to last week, barrels and gilts were steady to 2 lower. Sows were also steady to 2 lower. Barrels and gilts 49 to 54%. Lean were 62 to 65. 45 to 49%. Lean was 59 to 61. 3 to 500 pound sows were 44 to 46. 5 to 700 pounders were 51 to 53. Sheep and lambs this week, there was 2,338 with nothing available last week and 1,387 a year ago. Compared to last week, lambs were mostly $20 to $30 lower. Sheep were $5 to $10 lower. Choice lambs 50 to 75 pounders are 147 to 174. 80 to 110 pounds was 142 to 166. And heavier lambs 110 to 150 pounds are 144 to 162. Good ewes 100 to 120 pounders were 90 to 98. Heavier ewes 120 to 175 pounds were 80 to 96. Goats, compared to last week, they were $10 to $20 higher. Nannies were also $10 to $20 higher, and billies were about $20 lower. Numbers wise, we had 1,671 with again nothing available last week for as far as headage, and 1,743 a year ago. Selection 1 kids 50 to 55 pounders were 125 to $130. 70 to 110 pounders were 164 to $182. Selection 2s 40 to 50 pounders were 88 to $110. 60 to 70 pounders were 152 to $156. And 70 to 80 pounders were 140 to $157. Selection 3s 50 to 55 pounders were 67 to $72. Selection 1 nannies 110 to 125 pounds were 172 to $186. And billy selection ones 125 to $140 were $200 to $237. Heavier billies 150 to 175 pounds were $252 to $264. Selection 2s lighter billies 100 to 145 pounds were 152 to $200. And weather selection 170 to 90 pounders were 166 to $182. 90 to 110 pounders were 180 to $217. And then heavier Weathers number ones were running $220 up to $252. Selection 2s, 1,700 pounders were $137 to $188, and 100 to 150 pounders were running about $160 to $192. This is Dave Wirt for Ag Market News. Have a good week.